Howdy y'all, Stock Warden here, back with another video. In today's video we're covering Lithium Americas Corporation, and they just put in and announced their Q2 financial reports for 2026, and I got a front row seat to the unaudited condensed consolidation interim financial statements for the 3-month end back on June 30th. And also a update on the Thacker Pass project in Humboldt County, Nevada, on where they're at and where they're going. So stick around, there's a lot of information coming into this one. So as it stands right now, Jonathan Evans, which is the president and CEO of Lithium Americas, he came out with a very strong statement stating that we are safely accelerating construction toward peak activity and peak labor later this year, with mechanical completion still targeted for late 2027. More than 1,600 workers are on site today, with over 2,000 expected before the year's end. Thacker Pass is reaching new vertical heights as structural steel and concrete work at the processing plant advances through second floor installations. Across the site, we are transitioning into piping and electrical trades and are receiving more than 60 truckloads of equipment and materials each day. All off-site power modifications are complete, and we remain on track for energization for Q4 of 2026. And then he had also added that lithium is central to America's economic and national security, sustaining resilient military operations, powering essential civilian infrastructure, and underpinning the technologies driving modern economic growth, from consumer electronics to grid-scale energy storage. Securing a reliable domestic supply is going to be essential to meeting rising electricity demand, strengthening our energy independence, and ensuring the United States wins the global technology race. And Thacker Pass is proud to be a critical part of making that happen. And that comes not only as him making a bold and big statement whenever it comes to that, it is able to be backed up greatly with the White House putting down a new $3 billion package for U.S. created and made projects for mining for critical minerals and metals. And Thacker Pass is right in the crosshairs for getting a piece of that huge $3 billion expansion that the White House and the government is putting out. So now to get deep into the Q2 and subsequent to Q2 highlights for the actual financials. So the company, as of June 30th, had approximately $1.3 billion total cash and restricted cash, which included $530 million at the Thacker Pass joint venture level. On March 19th, the company entered into an at-the-market equity program, which is pursuant to which the company may sell its common shares, no par value, up to a maximum aggregate offering price of $250 million. So the net proceeds received from the March 2026 ATM program may be used for general corporate purposes, which may include funding of corporate and project overhead, capital expenditures, debt repayment, and working capital. So the company issued and sold 13 million common shares at an average price of $5.36 a share for aggregate net proceeds of $68.5 million after the sales agent's commission and other expenses. So in subsequent to the Q2 2026, the company issued and sold a total of 1.1 million common shares at an average price of $3.87 a share for aggregate net proceeds of $4.2 million after all expenses. So then on June 3rd, the company received its third advance on the U.S. Department of Energy loan of $342 million, which was cumulative advances which totaled $1.2 billion that they have received from this DOE loan to date. So on August 5th, the company entered into a securities purchase agreement with YA2PN Ltd, which is a affiliate of Yorkville Advisors Global. So, and that was set for up to $175 million in aggregate principal amount of subordinate convertible debentures. So, at the initial closing, the company has agreed to issue $150 million in Yorkville debentures. So the company retains the right to issue up to an additional $25 million in one or more subsequent closings at its discretion. So as of August 12th, the company had over 363 million shares issued and outstanding. The company continues to progress through major construction of the processing plant at Thacker Pass Phase 1, so targeting the mechanical completion in late 2027. But as of right now, 3.42 million work hours have been completed without a serious injury or lost time incident. 1.8 billion of construction capital and other project-related cost has been capitalized, of which 1.6 billion is part of the total capex estimate of the 2.93 billion per the company's technical report. So the company continues to target a total capex range of 1.3 to 1.6 for phase 1 of Thacker Pass or for fiscal year 2026. So detailed engineering design completion has surpassed 95%, while procurement is exceeding 80%, including a shipment of major plant materials and equipment. So then over 1,500 workers were residing at the company's all-inclusive housing facility in Winnemucca, which is the main workforce hub. So then you have the long lead equipment, which is continued arriving at Thacker Pass and the fabrication yard. With a outstanding long lead item, they're expected to be delivered throughout the rest of 2026, along with other equipment and construction materials. So over 85% of the structural steel for Thacker Pass, which is sourced from the United Arab Emirates, is in transit or has already arrived on site at Thacker Pass or the laydown yard at the WFH. So, and the balance is expected in Q3 of 2026. So, between the company and Bechtel, they have worked together with the steel supplier to minimize the impact of the Middle East conflict, including the closure of the Strait of Hormuz, on the fabrication and shipment of steel to Thacker Pass. So the company has successfully rerouted steel through the port of Jeddah, going and being able to completely section off the Strait of Hormuz in its entirety. So Thacker Pass is not going to slow down in the slightest. So, and development milestones that have been achieved during the Q2 of 2026, they had completed upgrades to the high voltage power line connecting Thacker Pass to the local power grid, placement of the first electrical room, which is a 115 kilovolt power transformer and control enclosures, then progressing structural steel at the filter building, magnesium sulfate building, and lithium carbonate building. Then you also have deliveries of approximately 100 prefabricated pipe rack modules with pre-installed piping. Then deliveries are expected on those to continue throughout Q3 of 2026. So then the commencement and continuation of key equipment installation at the facilities are going to continue as needed. With the lithium carbonate, they have the crystallizer and the bicarbonate reactor. The magnesium sulfate building, they've got their turbofans and stage 4 crystallizers, filter buildings, air compressors and receivers, conveyor tail pulleys, and neutralization filters with discharge conveyors as well. Then you have a sulfuric acid plant, which includes FemFan coolers, stainless steel converters, steam turbine generators, main compressors, cold interpass heat exchangers, hot interpass heat exchangers, and a 198-foot tall duplex plant stack. So all of that is expected to continue and develop for all these milestones into the second half of 2026. So by the end of this year, the expected development is that all main concrete required for the site should be completed, and early commissioning of utilities in the individual plants should commence as well. Then, given the advanced level of detailed engineering achieved, they believe that they will be able to commence a definitive capital estimate targeting completion by the end of Q3 of 2026. So that is going to be absolutely awesome as well. So as it stands, the company in itself is still growing exponentially fast. The site itself is popping up exponentially fast, and they are continuing to pave the way for getting this project done, and actually relatively close to on their time schedule, even with everything that's crazy going on in the rest of the world that would potentially hold a huge project like this up. So, but LAC and also the United Arab Emirates have been able to overcome these obstacles to make sure and ensure that LAC and the Thacker Pass project, which is one of the largest lithium deposits in the world, so it's definitely going to help and rival pretty much all, especially being on American soil. Hence, that's another way and why the U.S. government is pushing yet again with this $3 billion expansion bill to be able to push more into these critical minerals and metals. So LAC will definitely have a very strong feeling in saying that they will definitely be getting a large piece of that pie. So that is everything that I have on Lithium Americas when it comes to for Q2 financing, where they're at, where they're going, and where they're expecting to be. So with them beating out the earnings report just slightly, even though they did have some loss, but they are expected to have some financial loss considering they're in the building phase, not the production phase. So that you probably are going to have to hold on to while the stock is going to continue fluctuating between your $8 and $3 a share as it has for the past year in itself. So definitely a long hold stock. So if you have this in your portfolio, just keep all of this in mind and realize that the production phase of LAC is not going to at least commence until the end of 2027. But as I always say, buy the dip, buy low, hold for later. So this is everything that I have on LAC. I hope y'all enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see y'all in the next video. So this is the Stock Warden, riding off. Y'all come back now, you hear?